Hello, everyone, and welcome to my tour of the Combat HIV, AIDS, Malaria, and Other Diseases Millennial Development Goal 6 of Mauritius. Um, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's start off with a place that we're all familiar with, our beloved Rexburg, Idaho, which is where we attend um, the University of BYU, Idaho. And so, to get a little reference, we all know where Idaho is, and this is Rexburg, our beloved town. And although we are very comfortable here and far away from many different types of diseases and um, sicknesses and HIV and AIDS and all of those bad things, the country of Mauritius is in a much different place in the world that is much more likely to be susceptible to such misfortune. So let's go ahead and take a gander of where Mauritius is now. See that we're crossing the Atlantic Ocean, coming all the way over here into the Indian Ocean to the country of Mauritius. And Mauritius is kind of an interesting country. It's an island country that actually has both Mauritius and this country right here, Reunion, and then a country over here, or not a country, but a part of Mauritius called Rodriguez. And all of these places make up the country of Mauritius. Now, to start off with this goal, this explanation of goal number 6, I'd like to take you to what I think is the most um, influential role inside this goal, which is the town center inside Port Louis, um, where the government buildings are at. And the government plays a very interesting role, a very key role inside all of the different benefits that Mauritius has, all of their programs and everything, because they're the ones who are in charge of it pretty much. And one thing that I feel is very, very crucial in the success that Mauritius has had in fighting HIV, AIDS, malaria, and other diseases is the fact that they have a universal healthcare system that's free and available to everyone. And not only do they have a free and available healthcare to everyone, but they have free transportation for the entire country. And so when you run into these people who have these different diseases, um, or these different problems, they are a lot more likely to go to the hospital because they don't have to worry about the different bills that they'll have to pay because of it. And especially in a developing country, I feel like that's a very, very um, key move that needs to be done in order for these problems to be addressed. And um, and because of that, the government and the country has been very successful in combating these things. Next, I'd like to go to one of the popular hospitals of Mauritius, over here a little further away, but it looks like a very, and what I'd like to speak about here is just uh, the focus that Mauritius has put on specifically pregnant women who have HIV and the success that they've had. In 2009, 68%, 68.3% of the women who had HIV or HIV positive um, were given a drug that would help it not be transmitted to their child, and that drug is called the prevention of mother to child transmission, and it is also known as PMTCT. And Mauritius has had a lot of success recently because they've been able to raise that number to the amount of women who have HIV or are HIV positive, and have given them has raised the number from 68.3% to 96.0%. So now just about every woman who is HIV positive is given this drug so that it won't the chances will be less likely that it'll be passed to their child, which is really great. And the execution of that is also phenomenal. Phenomenal. They have a three components to their PMTCT program, which involves them testing all of the pregnant women um, at these clinics, which are spread out throughout the country. They have 150 something of these clinics that are available to the entire country, so that even people living in more rural areas have these resources. Um, these women are tested at these clinics, and then provision of the PMTCT to all pregnant women who are HIV positive is is brought to pass. And not only that but they follow up on all the children that come from these women to ensure that uh, that they too aren't HIV positive, and to help along in that process, which is really just a miraculous thing that a country like Mauritius would be able to have the organization and the skills to accommodate such a task. Um, Now, moving away from the hospital and more to the different schools, we'll go to the St. Andrew's Schools, which is a school inside Mauritius. And what I like to focus on at school is Mauritius has also had great success in educating their people on HIV, and they've risen their percentage of the population from 15 to 24, ages 15 to 24, with comprehensive knowledge about HIV or AIDS. They've risen it from 21.9% in 2004 to 81% in 2011. So now a great majority of the population knows about HIV and AIDS, and not only knows, but has a comprehensive knowledge of that. And that's done through the schools, that's done through the teachers, and then being able to teach the children, the rising generation, if you will, about HIV and AIDS and the effects that it has, which is also just very phenomenal that they're able to reach those percentages. Um, as far as other different diseases that have happened in Mauritius, they had a few outbreaks in the 2000s of chikungunya and also dengue. But these outbreaks were rather small and happened mainly because um, of different Mauritians who worked outside of the country and then would come back in and bring those diseases in. And so for that, we have the International Airport of Mauritius, where these workers would leave and go travel to different countries that are influenced by malaria, these different diseases, and and then they would bring them back and have these outbreaks. However, Mauritius doesn't see this as a major problem, considering these outbreaks are rather small, uh, influencing only like around a few thousand people. The thing that they focus more on is just more self-inflicted things like diabetes and hypertension of their population. The culture there has kind of led them, or the success that they have had has led them to bad eating habits, lack of physical activity, tobacco, and alcohol use. And so, um, you know, one of the things that globalizes them, the fact that they have these different companies coming in. You have companies like McDonald's who make their footprint in there, and if the country can afford it, then they'll go and eat there more often, and it'll lead to these different diseases like diabetes and um, hypertension and things along those lines. But I think it's very incredible that I feel like Mauritius has come out of the developing world and has become a developed country because they no longer have to fear these things like malaria or HIV. The percentages are very low of the people who have that, and they're having a lot more first world problems like diabetes and hypertension. And I think that's because the government has taken care of them very well and has made sure that their country has remained free from these different diseases. And, uh, and that's all I really have about Millennial Development Goal number 6 for the country of Mauritius. So thank you for listening, and have a great day.